Hello everyone, this is Nikhil once again, and today joining with me is Professor Mantha. He is faculty at the University of Sharjah, and he has been with us here at the international workshop on the technologies for low carbon lean construction. And despite him being a faculty in construction automation related work, he has been very patiently handling with a lot of presentations from materials from different backgrounds over the past 2 days. So welcome, Dr. Mantha, and could you share a little bit of your experience? What was some of the good moments from your entire experiences of this workshop?
So definitely the introduction itself. Thanks for inviting me for sure. Regarding the sessions yesterday, in particular, there is no way as I was mentioning as well. There's no way I would have sat through and probably with so much focus and attention heard through those presentations. On a lighter note, I do appreciate a lot of materials research now, definitely at the end of the day, and I can see the amount of work that goes behind, and especially the quality of work that is being done at IIT Madras in terms of the students, etc. And that is the reason why we had really a tough time choosing the top 3, and then it is not surprising that out of those top 3, 2 of them were from IIT Madras as well. So I definitely gained a lot of respect, interest, and definitely knowledge.
Thank you so much. I'll pass on your wishes to all the team. Coming back to your area, how do you think you work in the area of construction automation, robotics, cybersecurity? How do you think these areas help advance the sustainability related challenges in the built environment?
So as I was trying to present as well, sustainability definitely is the core of the discussion. For sure, everybody is worried about it. That's more or less the direct, if not the buzzword, if I can, quote unquote, that everybody is talking about, because everybody says, okay, if I address the sustainability, I know I can, let's say, loosely speaking, I can address the climate change issues and other things as well, right? So now to make sure that the core is achieved well and achieved in the long run, and that's essentially where the resilience part comes into picture. So if I am doing something and that works today, it's fine, it's sustainable today, but in the long run, it has to be resilient. And on top of all this, if I were to actually place these 2 sort of pillars on like a foundation, that foundation is what I call the security part, right? Why? Because the research expertise or whatever I bring in is the technology side. So when we talk about the technology side, yes, technology will give you all these wonderful things, but also it comes with that cost, with that cost of security. So if it is not secure, it is not resilient. If it is not resilient, not sustainable. So I'm not saying one is more important than the other, but the interconnected complex mix is definitely the key for long term, if I may, sustainability.
So that's a wonderful point, and we are experiencing this connectedness in our construction environment also, our sites getting much and more digitized. But you have seen the construction experience in UAE area. How do you compare, and how do you think, what are the unique challenges in Sharjah, UAE compared to India?
So especially in UAE, there broadly speaking two kinds of uniqueness in terms of the region itself, or probably I can broadly classify Middle East maybe, given the weather conditions and the culture and the construction demographics and the way they go about it, etc., as well. So definitely UAE or Middle East has to bring in a different perspective in the sense of, let's say if you were to go ahead and even talk about lean, if you were to go ahead and talk about the sustainability practices, etc., they're more willing, they're out, they're there, they're trying to go ahead and probably come up with those 2050. We have our own, let's say the country itself, not the region, the country itself has a 2030 vision, 2050 vision, etc., which is talking about sustainability goals, whatever. More specifically, they have now a very specific goal. They're not only just talking about reducing percentage-wise, etc., but they have a 3D printing goal, saying they have seen that yes, 3D printing is bringing that efficiency, and we are doing a lot of construction. Dubai, of course, as you know, it's just growing by the day, by the hour sometimes. So they are saying we are trying to mandate that 30% of the buildings have to be 3D printed by 2030.
That's a huge push.
Yeah. So now that, you know, indirectly will bring in something. It's more or less like saying I'll enforce this and hope that some of these sustainability goals are met. Why? Because I know I'm predominantly using concrete here. And I know that 3D printing, if I enforce, I can go ahead and by default, more or less, achieve those sort of things. And of course, this is not happening today. I'm not bringing this up, but this was released a couple of years ago. It's in progress. to be very honest, I don't think it is going as per what they hoped for, but at least it's going somewhere. Now you will see a lot of 3D printing startups, etc. in the region. They're trying to go ahead and start to implement. There's a lot of dialogue. People are interested. We got a 3D printer as well in the university. Now that I'm marketing it, but as you can see, just as academics are bringing it, startups are coming. So a lot of things are moving in that direction for sure.
So one final question to you, and you have been fantastic in answering all of them, keeping them extremely short. Budding civil engineers, budding graduates, what is the key message do you think will make them market ready? Should they focus on learning civil engineering skills? Should they focus on learning programming? A little bit of both. What is your suggestion on it?
I keep saying this to my students as well. If they're listening, I'm sorry, you can skip it. they must have been bored already with this. So I keep telling them that anyone who goes out is more or less coming up with that degree, right? Everybody is doing those courses, understandably. I'm not disrespecting, discounting, or even underestimating the value of what you're trying to do. But there's definitely a lot of push in terms of other things, whatever the other thing is. In my case, as an example, let's say it's automation. In your case, you bring in some other expertise, etc., that is coming from others. So if I were to put it in the colloquial sense of at least the current understanding of things, interdisciplinary. And I wouldn't necessarily call it interdisciplinary because if you look at it, everything is interdisciplinary that way, even the basic of the research that you do, right? So the only suggestion I would have for you is this. Do what you're doing within that class context, etc., but always go ahead and try to learn something else outside this domain that essentially bridges the gap between two things. As an example, let's say I work on a robotics related thing. So you don't have to now start over all again and then do a bachelor's in robotics. But at the same time, I'm saying don't stick to that. At least understand what does it mean, where it can be applied, how it can be applied. What does things go in terms of assuming such a system? Why does a robot require? Where is it required? It's not as if robot is fancy, I'll start to put it everywhere. Right? There is a value. Where can I apply it? Why can I apply it? If you understand these things, I think industries are looking for those because they're looking for such talent wherein they come with that niche expertise and or additional talent.
Their brains to broader context.
And then they'll be like, you know what? Come, get started already. Be on site, but as a 20-30% of your task, you know what, let's try to implement something like this. You will be that bridge.
Fantastic. Thank you so much, Mantha, for joining, and hope we can keep on collaborating like this. Really appreciate all your help and support.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.